Let's take a look at access modifiers for class members. Now, keep in mind that when we talk about access modifiers, what we're defining is the visibility or the accessibility of a class member. So these access modifiers can be applied to things like properties, methods, and the data members of a class. These are the access modifiers in C#. You can see that you have several of them: public, internal, private, protected, and this access modifier actually is two words: protected, internal. Now what I've done here is I've applied some of those access modifiers to these methods. I have a method called deposit, process check, and create ID. Notice that I've just short-circuited the structure of the method. I've got the parameter list here. No one takes parameters. None of these methods do. And then this is your code block for the different method. Now, public, that access modifier means there's really no limit to the accessibility or the visibility of, for example, a method. So I've defined this method as a public method, which means it's definitely available really at any place. An internal class member means that the class member itself is only internally available within a particular assembly. So an internal access modifier means assembly level. It's available only within the assembly where it has been defined or created. Private means that the class member is available only within the class itself. So the visibility or the accessibility of the class member is only within the class. It's only accessible within the class itself. Now what you have here is you do have a method that is private. It's called process check. So that method, process check, is only available or only visible within the actual class that it's been defined in. You'll notice that this third method has no access modifier, and when a method has no access modifier, it means by default that it is indeed private. The last two, protected and protected internal, are the last two modifiers that we'll take a look at. Protected means that the class member is accessible only within a class or a derived class. So a protected member, for example, a protected method, is limited access-wise to the class that it was defined in, or a derived or inherited class. Protected internal, actually any of the class members that are defined with that access modifier, means that that class member has access that's limited to a class, a derived class, or to an assembly. Remember, if you don't actually explicitly mention the modifier within your class member definition, then by default class members are private, which means they're only available within the class itself.